What's going on, everybody? Shonen Express here, coming to you with another weekly newsletter for Weekly Shonen Jump. I'm super excited to get into this week. We actually had a lot of different stuff going on this week, so new stuff for me to kind of talk about and discuss here on the weekly newsletter, so I'm excited about that. So let's just get into it. So first of all, starting with the cover, this week the cover went to Build King, which is the new series, and so both the cover and the new category this week are the same, and that is Build King. So Build King started this week. It's a series that is by the author of Toriko. His name is eluding me at the moment, but so kind of going into the first chapter, I really like the world. I'll be honest, when I heard about Build King, I wasn't super excited for this manga, but actually after reading the first chapter, I'm really kind of digging it. I like how this world is structured. It feels very much like the world of Toriko, how everything was kind of wrapped around food in that world, and it seems like everything is kind of wrapped around this idea of construction in this world, and it's something that is unique, but I think is really cool. I love all of the different buildings, these what they call Build Kings, which are just structures that are very well made. I love seeing the Build Kings. I like that one shot that we had of all of those kind of just being around. That was really cool. I loved the stuff with Tonkachi is what I'm going to say his name is, the main character. I loved the stuff with him and his hammer, and him able to use his hammer and like put his vitality in it and strengthen it that way to take out this main house destroyer. I really liked how in the beginning of the manga, I felt like, okay, Tonkachi's going to be like this, or Tonkachi, I'm sorry, is going to be like this underdog character. We're not going to get a whole lot. He's not going to be that cool, but he's slowly going to build his skills throughout the series. And I think that's probably still true, but he's not. He's the typical I'm super strong shonen protagonist. And I really like that. I really liked him. I liked his brother as well. I thought both of the main characters were pretty cool. And so I'm really excited to see what happens in the future. I was a little worried about this mangaka drawing a style that wasn't super muscular, right? I was used to the Toriko kind of character design of these big muscular guys, and we saw a little bit of that even in this chapter in their master, who seems to be like this big muscular guy. So I think we're going to get more of that, but I like that his main character is kind of different. And honestly, the art style of the main character reminds me a little bit of Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball style a little bit. So either way, I really liked this chapter. I thought it was really cool. Build King, definitely worth your time. If you want to jump on that. And it was great to finally have a new series come out in the magazine. So yeah, Build King was really cool. And it was the cover. As far as one's ending this week, nothing ended this week, although Ayakashi Triangle I'm really worried about. I really think that we're getting close, and there's a couple others that I get worried about every once in a while, but Ayakashi Triangle being the big one. Especially this week, we had Jujutsu Kaisen release like a special chapter. It seems like, at least from the chapter itself, the author just wasn't able to get the regular chapter done on time, and so he kind of threw together this like kind of gag chapter. So we saw a couple things. I like the gag where they use a bunch of space, like the whole page for no apparent reason. I like the gag with Toto being in the swimsuit on the beach. That was kind of funny. So there were some good gags in this chapter, but overall it was cool to have something different, cool little special thing, and cool to be able to put something in the special category for my weekly newsletter. So yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen had a special kind of middle chapter released this week. On break this week, Black Clover. After some of the amazing chapters we've had with Black Clover recently, no big deal that it's on break this week. I'm sure it's going to come back next week, same kind of strength. So I can't wait to see more Black Clover. But yeah, it was on break this week, which is totally fine. So I know I do this all the time, and so I know this is not going to be any surprise to those of you who watch these videos consistently, but I am yet again switching up what was my top 3 and bottom 3. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't think that the bottom 3 are really fun to do. I have a hard time every week picking what 3 manga I'm going to put on the bottom, most of the time because I really don't hate anything running in the magazine right now. There are a couple that I really don't like that probably would never get highlighted unless they were bad, but so what I've decided to do is split these two categories up, and every week I'm going to bring you my top 5. These are out of everything in the magazine. These are the things in the order that are the top 5 manga for me this week in the magazine. So I'm going to do a kind of top 5 power ranking every single week of the things that I have. And then if there is a manga that I really think this week was really bad or like struggled really hard, like something like that, I'll mention that after I do my top 5. But as far as those manga that I'm going to highlight here, I'm just going to do my top 5 every week. And hopefully that changes it up. Hopefully that gets some different manga, get a chance to do that. And I'll try to kind of highlight different manga too throughout the time that we do this. But there's probably going to be a couple that are staples up here at the top of the magazine. But we shall see. But let's get into my top 5 this week. Coming in at number 5 this week is Chainsaw Man. So I really like Chainsaw Man this week. I thought it was a good chapter. I struggle because I have several problems with it. But I have this problem with Chainsaw Man frequently where they do something and I'm like, I don't know if I like that direction. But it does make sense, so I can't really argue with it. I don't love Denji's real reason for like wanting to continue to be Chainsaw Man. It's just, for me, it's not super great. I don't love it a whole lot, so it's just not the best in my mind. But there's several decisions that Chainsaw Man makes that are like that for me. But I do like that he went to fight Makima, and I'm super interested to see what becomes of that. I liked his little thing where he's like talking about Makima and like how he's like he like still likes her even after all she's done. I thought that was neat, and I definitely thought that last panel where Makima and the other devils were there coming at Denji, and Denji's chainsaw like fires up there at the end. I thought that was a really cool panel. Definitely a cool shot to end on for this week, but it definitely still deserves my number 5 spot. Chainsaw Man's a great manga. This week, it landed at the number 5 spot. I should also mention that I didn't actually put Build King into this list. I didn't factor it in. I was already highlighting it because it was both the cover page and the new chapter this week, so I didn't feel like I needed to highlight it here. But I didn't factor it in at all. So it's not like Build King's number 6 or even lower. I just didn't put it in here. So going forward, just so y'all know that Build King wasn't originally in here. But then moving on to number 4. Number 4 this week, I have Phantom Seer. Phantom Seer is a manga that it's really grown on me in the past couple chapters. I really think that the artwork in Phantom Seer is amazing. I think that the artist is really, really great. And I like where they're kind of going with these characters. I really like where they're going with these characters. First of all, the artwork being amazing is like the fight scenes are amazing. There's so much cool stuff to look at in Phantom Seer that I really, really enjoy it. And it's just really cool. I love the whole thing about Iori kind of lying to Senju Doji about being so upset and acting really upset so that she would bring out the hostages so that they could save them. I love that. I love that Iori is still apathetic at heart, but like wants to save these people and uses whatever he can to get that done. I absolutely love that. I thought that made Iori such a cool character, and going forward, I'm definitely going to look for that, in the future. So I really loved that. Iori was so cool this week. And Ibetsu's training, not only her training, like I loved seeing her gather that water, but then when she shows up at the end, I'm so excited to have Ibetsu be a part of this team and a part of the fight. It does give me a little hint that like if this Senju Doji is really like Iori's main enemy, that this manga might not last that long, but I hope that's not true. I hope this is just an introductory arc, and I hope that we get a lot other arcs going forward. So Phantom Seer definitely deserves my number 4 spot this week. Number 3 this week, then, is Ayakashi Triangle. I really like this manga. This manga has been at the bottom of my list for a lot, and y'all know why. I'm not a big fan of fan service, and this manga is full of it. But now that Matsuri's back to being a guy, and we're seeing some really like cool exorcist ninja fights, this is exactly what I thought it was going to be when I read chapter 1. This is the Ayakashi Triangle that I was excited for when chapter 1 came out, and so I love reading it. I love seeing it. I am super scared that it's going to end literally next week, but I really like seeing it in the magazine, and it definitely deserves my number 3 spot this week. I love all the stuff with I love Matsuri's knowledge, his thinking ahead. I thought it was cool how they kind of explained why he didn't die, and it was interesting. So I like this chapter. Definitely deserves my number 3 spot this week. So moving on, number 2, and this may come as a surprise, but my number 2 chapter this week is One Piece. I love One Piece, and this was an amazing One Piece chapter, and it definitely deserves to be at least this high, if not higher. But the stuff first of all, I love Marco. I'm a huge Marco fan, and so I love seeing Marco being able to go toe-to-toe with Big Mom. I mean, they only traded a couple blows. I know that they're probably not of the same strength caliber. Big Mom could probably take him out if she went full force. I know all of that, but I love seeing him be able to trade blows with her. It's so cool. As a Marco fan, I'm really into that. I really like the Perospero-Marco interactions. I like how Perospero was like, I don't really want to kill you like this, but hey, I gotta I gotta play my cards where I got them. Carrot and Wanda being able to then come in and take Perospero down before he takes out Marco. That was super cool. I love all that. I can't wait to see how Marco interacts with the stuff with the Ice Devils going on. And so I can't wait to see all of that either. But the main part of this chapter is Nami and Usopp versus Ulti in page 1. I really loved seeing Usopp put in work against Ulti in page 1. I mean, he didn't win, obviously, but he didn't do bad. I mean, at one point, those bamboo shoots were actually, I think, impaling page 1. And so he didn't do bad. Usopp is a real contender. I love seeing that. I'm a big Usopp fan. And Nami, of course, Nami's declaration at the end that Luffy will become, he'll never stop until he becomes Pirate King. I love these moments with the Straw Hat Pirates, and it would just be disrespectful for me to put it anywhere but at least number 2. And so, obviously, One Piece gets number 2. Amazing One Piece chapter. If you're not reading One Piece, what on earth are you doing? Read One Piece. It's a great series. One of the greatest, maybe. So, yeah, definitely number 2 this week. But my number 1 chapter this week is My Hero Academia. This chapter was everything I wanted in this chapter. After last week I believe I gave it number 1 too, but this week just capitalized on that. We got to see Dabi fully explain through the TV his whole plan. We got to see first of all, before we even get there, we got to see Endeavor interact with Toya as a child and see this side of Endeavor of where he was genuinely excited to train his kid and really be a part of his kid's life. I like seeing that side of Endeavor, and I think it's going to be a hard road up for Endeavor from here on out, but I liked seeing that little flashback. But not only that, but we see the doctored footage about Jin, or Twice, whichever you know him as, being killed by Hawks. We see that kind of doctored footage to make it look really sinister. And we get, he says that Best Jeanist was killed by Hawks in the hospital, as a cover. So we get all of this, and, society's shaken, right? It's not going to be the same, no matter what. It's been shaken by this news. But then, at the end of the chapter, Best Jeanist shows up and puts in work against the villains. I'm so excited to see how this resolves. I'm so glad Best Jeanist is back. I couldn't resist putting him in the thumbnail. I know it's a spoiler. I know I shouldn't have done that. But I couldn't resist putting him in the thumbnail. I like Best Jeanist a lot. I think he's a really cool hero, and I really, really like that he came back. I love that he's not dead or crippled or whatever. And since he got just decimated by All For One, I really love that he's getting to put in work here against Dabi and against the League of Villains now. I think it's super cool, and definitely this chapter was amazing. Deserves my number 1 spot. I have no doubts about that at all. But yeah, that's my top 5 this week. That's what I got. As far as chapters that were bad, I really didn't think anything was exceptionally bad, so I don't really have anything on the negative list this week. So that's pretty much all I got. But let's move on to news for the magazine. So far, next week, My Hero Academia will be on break after this chapter. That's fine. I can understand that. And I know complaints. So don't expect any My Hero Academia next week if you're a fan. Next week, we will have a new manga as well called Sakamoto Days. I'm nearly positive that that's going to debut next week. So we'll be getting that new manga. So I'm excited about that. Excited to have something in the new category once again when Build King, works its way in. I imagine that'll be the cover next week as well, since it's a new one, but I'm not actually sure about that. And the only other kind of piece of news I could find is there is planned to be more Burn the Witch. Tite Kubo has talked about producing more Burn the Witch in the future, so there will be more of that series if you enjoyed that. And Tite Kubo will be working on it. He said he's not working on it now, so kind of expect a long wait, I would imagine. But at the same time, there is more Burn the Witch. There is more content from Tite Kubo coming out, which is great. I'm a big Tite Kubo fan, so I can't wait for that to come out. But that's all the news I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have anything to say, leave it down in the comments section below. I'd love to talk with you about Weekly Shonen Jump, about anything that I talked about, the new series, anything like that. Please leave your comments down in the comment section. Also, if you liked anything I had to say, like this video, subscribe to my channel. I bring you these weekly newsletters every single week about Weekly Shonen Jump, as well as, other side videos that I produce. Right now, I believe I already mentioned, but right now I'm working on a video on All Might, so I can't wait to get that out for you as well, especially, if you're a My Hero Academia fan. Can't wait to get that out for you, but that's what I got in the works right now. But thanks you guys so much for watching, and until next time, this is Shonen Express, signing out.